It's a harsh reality that almost nobody will say out loud. But I will, because you deserve the truth. Not another lullaby that keeps you stuck. No one cares about your excuses. Not really, not your boss. Not the market, not the world. Life doesn't pause because you're scared. Opportunities don't linger because you're tired. Doors don't stay open because you almost walked through them. The world moves. It keeps moving whether you're ready or not, whether you're scared or not, whether you have a good reason for hesitating or not. And if you want a life that's bigger than survival, bigger than average, bigger than regret, you have to wake up to this brutal but freeing truth. Your excuses don't matter. Your results do. Harsh, maybe fair, not always, but true, absolutely. And the faster you absorb that, the faster you start living, instead of explaining why you aren't. Because here's what happens. When you build a life around excuses, you stay stuck, you stay almost ready. You stay just about to. You stay explaining to yourself and others why you couldn't, why you shouldn't, why it's not your fault. And every time you tell yourself that story, it gets heavier, it gets stickier. It gets harder to move. It buries your dreams under layers of justification and self-pity. It numbs your hunger. It chokes your courage until one day, you're not even fighting for your life anymore. You're justifying your stagnation. You're defending your smallness. You're calling fear wisdom and calling resignation realism. And you know it deep down. You know it. You can feel the gap between the life you're living and the life you could have lived, widening every day you let your excuses win. You can feel your own potential decay every time you settle for another day of waiting. You can feel your dreams rotting inside you, and nobody else will come save them. Nobody else will come pry the excuses out of your hands. Nobody else will come force you to become who you could be. It's you, only you. Always you. This is the real battleground. Not the economy, not your resume. Not your boss, not your circumstances. The real battleground is inside you. The war between the version of you that wants to build and the version of you that wants to blame. The version that wants to rise and the version that wants to rationalize. The version that wants freedom and the version that finds safety in stagnation. Every excuse you hold on to is a brick in the wall between you and your next level. Every excuse you protect is a chain around your own ankles. Every excuse you believe is a reason your dream moves further out of reach. And no, I'm not saying your excuses aren't valid. Most of them are. You have real obstacles, real fears, real heartbreak, real fatigue, real losses, real betrayals. You are carrying things nobody else can see. And it's not your fault that life hurt you. It's not your fault that systems are unfair. It's not your fault that the climb is harder for some than others. But it is your responsibility to decide what you will do. Now it is your responsibility to decide whether you will let that pain define your future. It is your responsibility to decide whether you will spend your life waiting for fairness or spend your life building something beautiful anyway. Nobody else can make that choice for you. Nobody else can force you to stop making excuses. That's your work, your decision, your power. And here's the deeper truth. Excuses aren't just protecting you from action. They're protecting you from hope. Because hoping hurts, dreaming hurts. Trying hurts, betting on yourself hurts. When it doesn't go the way you planned, when you have to risk failure, when you have to face your own limits, excuses anesthetize that pain. They give you an easy out. I would have won if only I could have been great. If only I might have lived my dreams. If only, but at what cost? At the cost of your real lived potential. At the cost of your one precious wild life. At the cost of waking up at 60 or 70 and realizing you built a fortress of reasons instead of a life. At the cost of becoming someone who explains why they didn't rather than someone who shows what they did. And you are meant for more than that. You are meant to be someone who looks your fear in the face and moves anyway. You are meant to be someone who uses pain as fuel, not as a prison. You are meant to be someone who lets their scars make them wise, not make them small. You are meant to be someone who carries your heartbreak, your losses, your disappointments, and still builds something fierce, something beautiful, something that makes the whole damn struggle worth it. You are meant to be someone who writes a story with your life that says yes. It was hard, yes. It was unfair, yes. I was scared, and still I chose to rise. That's who you really are underneath all the excuses. That's who you've always been. You just forgot, you just got tired. You just got tricked into believing that life was supposed to be easier before you started living. It's not. Life asks you to start before it feels fair. before it feels safe, before it feels guaranteed. Life asks you to move while you're scared, to build while you doubt, to show up while you're hurting, to believe while you're grieving, to trust while you're trembling. That's the price of admission for a life you're proud of, and it's worth it, God. It's worth it because the alternative, the slow death of your dreams, under the weight of your own justifications, will cost you far more than trying ever could. So if you are tired of being stuck, tired of explaining, tired of almost starting, this is your wake-up call. This is your line in the sand. This is your invitation to stop feeding your excuses and start feeding your future. Start today, start messy. Start scared, start small. Start badly, just start. Because nobody is counting your excuses. They're counting your results. And you breathing, dreaming, aching, becoming. You are capable of results that will silence every excuse you've ever believed. You are capable of becoming someone who doesn't just talk about potential. You live it, you embody it. You build it one fierce, stubborn, holy step at a time in that journey. That gritty, breathtaking, brutally beautiful journey starts the moment you decide to stop waiting for life to get easier and start getting stronger instead. Life doesn't owe you a dream, but you owe it to yourself to make the dream real. Anyway, one choice at a time. One day at a time, one breath at a time. Starting now, the sooner you accept that nobody cares about your excuses, the sooner you start living differently. You start making decisions based on where you want to go, not where you're afraid you are stuck. You stop narrating your pain and start narrating your possibility. You stop explaining why you can't and start finding how you can. Because here's the truth. You have to carve into your bones if you want to rise. The world responds to movement, not to pity. The world responds to momentum, not to stalled potential. The world responds to the person who keeps swinging after they miss, keeps walking after they fall, keeps building after they lose. Results speak louder than explanations. Movement builds more faith than talking about why. You can't move yet. Action is the ultimate rebuttal to every fear, every doubt, every story that says you're not ready, not worthy, not enough. And the best part, you don't need permission to start. You don't need the world's green light. You don't need your fear to evaporate. You don't need your doubt to disappear. You just need to move anyway. Build anyway, try anyway. Risk anyway. Every excuse you overcome makes you stronger. Every obstacle you refuse to let define you makes you braver every single day. You wake up and choose movement over self-pity. You rewire your future in ways you cannot even fully understand yet, because action compounds, courage compounds. Small, ordinary acts of discipline and bravery compound into extraordinary lives. Not overnight, not magically, but inevitably if you refuse to quit. If you refuse to let the story of why it's too hard win. If you refuse to keep telling yourself that your limitations matter more than your dreams. They don't, they never did. Your limitations are real, but your spirit is more real. Your obstacles are real, but your resilience is more real. Your pain is real, but your power is more real. And the moment you stop worshipping your pain, stop bowing to your obstacles, stop rehearsing your limitations like a script, you get to start living from your power instead. You get to build a life from your strength, not your struggle. You get to move from a place of agency, not apology. You get to start measuring your life by the results you create, not the reasons you couldn't. And those results don't have to be grand at first. They don't have to impress anyone. They don't have to go viral. They just have to exist. They just have to be real. The first workout after years of neglect, that's a result. The first honest conversation after years of silence, that's a result. The first dollar earned from a new dream, that's a result. The first step toward a scary goal you almost abandoned, that's a result, and every result, no matter how small, is a crack in the wall of fear. Every result is a vote for your future self. Every result is proof that you are no longer bowing to excuses. You are building anyway, you are becoming anyway, you are moving anyway, and over time, if you keep stacking those results, if you keep choosing creation over complaint, something incredible happens. You transform. You stop being someone who almost lived their dreams. You stop being someone who almost changed. You stop being someone who almost became who they were meant to be. You become it fully, fiercely, unapologetically. You become someone whose life is not defined by what happened to you, but by what you chose to build anyway. You become someone whose strength is obvious, not because you never struggled, But because you kept showing up, you become someone who carries your story, the messy, painful, beautiful story with pride. Because you know you didn't let it stop you. You didn't let the excuses win. You didn't let the world's indifference convince you to quit. You didn't let the voice in your head that said, "Not enough," drown out the deeper voice that said, "Go anyway." That voice, the voice of your deeper self, is still there, still whispering, still calling you forward, still inviting you to build, to move, to believe. Even now, especially now. Because now you know the truth. Now you know that nobody is coming to give you permission. Now you know that life doesn't reward the ones who explain their fear best. It rewards the ones who move through the fear anyway. Now you know that your future will not be measured by how good your reasons were, but by how bravely you refuse to let those reasons define you. So build, breathe, move, right, launch. Speak, ask, risk, love. Fight, begin again. Begin again, begin again. Not because the timing is perfect, not because you're fearless, but because your dreams are worth it, because your future is worth it, because your life, your one wild, unrepeatable life is worth it. No one cares about your excuses, and that's good news, because it means you are free. Free to stop explaining and start building, free to stop apologizing and start living, free to stop bargaining with fear and start creating with faith. Free to become the kind of person who doesn't just dream about results. You make them happen one choice at a time. One breath at a time, one day at a time. Your results, your movement, your building, your becoming are the loudest, most powerful response you can ever give to a world that tried to tell you couldn't go. Prove them wrong. Better yet, prove yourself right. Prove that even without perfect conditions, even without easy roads, even without applause, you were still enough to build something breathtaking. Not Sunday, now begin.